little box to stand on. Thank you for your attention today. Thank you, Sarah Jane and Diana, for such an inspiring experience in hearing about your work. It warms my heart. I'm the Dallas County Speaker Advocate for Traffic 911, so I represent them at a lot of events, and I find by and large that everywhere I go, when I have a chance to talk to Americans about this issue, the vast majority of people are completely unaware of how huge this problem is here in the United States. Conservative estimates suggest that we have at least about 100,000 American minor children being trafficked in just the United States every year. It's very underreported, so it may be as high as about 300,000 or more. Just think about that for a minute, how many kids that is. It's the second fastest growing crime in the United States, number one being drugs. And we always tell people, think about the fact that when somebody sells a drug, they can't sell that again. You sell a girl, you can sell her over and over and over again. So that's part of why it's growing so fast. The average pimp makes about $200,000 a year per girl. They're forced to sleep with as many as 30 men a night. These are small children. You can imagine what it does to their bodies to service 30 men a night. The average age, and this is an average age, so as you guys highlighted, that means there's a lot of younger children as well. Average age of entry is 12 to 13 years. They live about 7 years once they're trafficked. STDs, murder, suicide, drug overdose, all kinds of things lead to their early deaths, so we know we have to get to them quickly. Unfortunately, right now, we're only rescuing about 1%. 99% are not being rescued. Texas, unfortunately, I hate to tell you, is the second worst state in the United States. California's number one. Part of that is because we are on the I-10 corridor. And all of you here in criminal justice work know that the I-10 corridor is a route between Florida, California, through Texas. We represent about a third of that for moving the girls, because that's one of the things that pimps do to escape prosecution, is they just keep the girls moving along that corridor. And Dallas has one of the worst teen prostitute problems in the nation. We have 400 girls a night on the street here in Dallas. We feel like at Traffic 911 that one of the biggest drivers of all of this is pornography. It's important for us to be, as a woman, I of course want to focus on women's rights and rescuing women and girls, but we also have to look at the demand side of this as well. And we feel very strongly that pornography is a huge driver for this problem. And I'm excited because we're actually developing some videos and training modules so that we can start talking to middle school, high school boys and men about this problem, because we find when we talk to boys in school, they have no idea that these girls are being forced to do these things while they're being filmed. They think that they're just enjoying it and having a good time, and so I'm not hurting anybody by watching this. And we're also trying to educate boys about the fact that if you watch this, and it's child pornography, you can catch a charge for and end up being labeled a sex offender the rest of your life. 13 years old watching pornography and never kissed a girl, and you can end up being a sex offender. Parents need to know how risky this is for their children as well to be watching that. So let me tell you quickly what Traffic 911 does, because I'm really hoping that I can interest some of you in possibly volunteering or supporting our efforts here. We work in the Texas Triangle, as Emily said, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, Houston. We also do some work down in Corpus Christi and other places, but that's our primary focus. Right now we are in 12 counties. Our goal in 5 years is to be working in 39 counties in Texas. We're a 5-year-old organization. We work in juvenile detention in 10 different counties right now. We have teams going in regularly, several times a month. What we find when we go into detention is that often about a third to a half of the girls we work with have not told anybody in the justice system that they are a trafficking victim. They're in there on other charges. And they're afraid to tell anybody because they're afraid people will go after their families on the outside. They're afraid they'll catch more charges on the inside. They're afraid they won't be seen as a victim, that they'll be seen as a criminal in a whole new way. So they don't tell anybody. But we go in there and do education and build relationships with them, and a lot of times they will then tell us, and then we can trace their pimp and sometimes get their pimp off the street. We feed leads to Homeland Security, FBI, DPS, and local law enforcement, and 87% of the leads that we get lead to prosecution. So we've been very effective at working with law enforcement. We have a really good supportive relationship with many agencies. We also do something called Traps of the Trafficker, and any of you who have young children, I really encourage you to go to our website and learn more about where you can go to one of our orientations and find out where you can come bring one of your children to a traps presentation. It's for middle school and high school kids. And this teaches people that we work with in detention, as well as going to schools and work with other community groups, to present to children how to be aware of how you could be targeted. One of the things that shocked the heck out of me when I started working with Traffic 911 was finding out that now the recruiters are sending middle school age girls into schools and saying, find a girl that's going through trouble, who has self-esteem problems, who's being bullied. They tell them what to look for. Make friends with that girl. Go play at her house for a couple of months. Groom her parents, groom her. They'll let their guard down, and then, oh, come to my house one day. Yeah, they're not going to their house, they're going to a trafficking house is where they're going. And you as a parent think, oh, my daughter's just been playing with this new middle school age friend. Nothing to worry about. She's been in my house for 3 months. Seems like a nice kid. They are recruiting our kids with other children. Yes. So as parents, we have to learn about all these different ways to keep our children safe and to raise our children's awareness. So in addition to juvenile detention and the Traps of the Trafficker presentations with children, we also do internet surveillance work. So if you want to volunteer and you don't have a lot of time and it needs to be a flexible thing, you can do this in your own home. We have an extensive training to train people how to spot underage girls being advertised on things like Backpage.com. How many here know about Backpage? Yeah. Backpage.com is a place where you can legally sell women for sex. And people always say to me, how is that possible in the United States? Really? Yeah. There's a disclaimer on there. People say, oh, anybody that's advertising is over 18, so we're good, right? There's a lot of underage girls being sold. You know, fresh meat, you know, brand new, just here tonight, special deal, all kinds of words we train our volunteers to look for. We train them how to look at the body anthropometrics of somebody and determine whether or not they might be an underage child. You can tell a lot of times by the photos, they're real grainy and not professionally done. And then we fill out a report that we send to Homeland Security to follow up on leads. And we've been very effective at rescuing girls that way. We've had 180 rescues in 3 years with local girls. Awesome. We have a street outreach team. We teach people how to go out in teams of 3 or 4 and go to hotels, bus stops, train stations, airports, and work with people that work in those places to teach them how to recognize a trafficking victim, to try to find out who's working with traffickers, because hotel desk clerks, hotel owners, sometimes those people are in cahoots with those people. So we try to get a sense for that. We do surveillance on parking lots, very expensive car, and it's EV hotel, the car's showing up in a lot of the hotels, probably a pimp. We run background on the license plates, things like that, with law enforcement. So you can be on a street outreach team. We have first responder trainings. We work with emergency room personnel. We went to Cook County Children's Hospital, and they said, well, we don't really have that kind of thing coming through here. We did a training, and in the next year they identified 12 trafficking victims, because they just didn't have the training to know what they were looking for. We've had a safe house. We just closed that one down. It's very remote and hard to get to, and so we're in the process of making plans to open new safe houses that are more accessible to our volunteers, but we do safe house work and rehabilitation work with victims that have been rescued. We do community presentations, so if you have any group that you're connected to that would be willing to listen to us talk, we will come in at your request, whether it's a church group, community group, school group, please call us. We have presentations for adults, 30 minutes, hour, hour and a half, whatever your group needs. We're working on having bilingual presentations, and we would love to get into the schools. So if you have any connections with schools, please help us so we can do that TRAPS presentation to children. And then we have a number of events where we do booths and representations like here. So what I would tell you, if you want to do something locally and you're willing to give us a little of your time, come first to one of our orientations. I have materials over here and has that information about our website on there. So you can sign up on the volunteer list if you'd like us to contact you more about our opportunities, or come to one of our orientations. We have them in all the different counties, all different schedules, and just come learn about the problem here locally. And you'll also be able to find out more details about where you might fit well with kind of a volunteer opportunity based on your schedule. Do I want to work in detention? Do I want to do internet surveillance from home? What would be a good fit for you if you'd like to make a contribution? So With that, I will stop talking, and I'd be happy to answer your questions after we're done. Thank you.